Hello, beautiful and exotic women of the world. So many of us are being held back from our greatest potential and from our highest version of ourselves because we are afraid of rejection and judgment. But what if I told you that there is an idea and a phenomenon that can shake you to your core and make you afraid of literally and virtually nothing? I want to discuss the theory of rejection therapy and of exposure therapy, and how these two things, when done the right way, can make you quantum leap into your next version and the girl who you envision yourself being, who is fearless and doesn't care about anyone's opinions. Why am I talking about this on this channel? I do a lot of videos about drama and hate and jealousy. But today I want to discuss mental health because a lot of beautiful women do come from traumatic situations. And it's so important that we have healthy minds and healthy mindsets. And I definitely have struggled with being perceived and being afraid to be seen in public in a certain way. And that's kind of where this whole exposure therapy and rejection therapy came up. Is in a book called Not Nice. And the book discusses this theory where you literally deliberately put yourself in social situations where you're going to be perceived in a negative or positive way by people you just don't know, and you don't care. The definition I found was when someone deliberately does things in public to intentionally make themselves less concerned about others' perceptions. It could be described as a form of exposure therapy or deliberate social provocation, essentially trying to desensitize themselves to potential judgment by actively engaging in behaviors that might elicit reactions from people. So I'm going to show you guys some examples of reaction and exposure therapy, and then I'll come back for my commentary.
Hi, how are you? Can I ask you what you're doing here?
It's a rejection therapy. So you go and you do something super weird,
Yeah.
and the goal is to get a big amount of crazy looks, like, oh my god, she's crazy. And so then, like after you do the good amount of these exercises, you're not afraid of like people judging you or like rejecting you or looking weird at you.
Really?
Yeah. It's from a book called Not Nice. And like he has all these exercises like go to a stranger who talks on the phone and ask them whom they're talking to. Or like lay down on a busy sidewalk and like lay down for 10 minutes.
You're almost done.
Almost done. And
Okay.
it's been pretty awful. I'm super scared.
Really? Well, that's funny.
Yes.
We
We thought you lost a bet or something.
No.
You just do it for yourself.
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
Hope it works.
So no one's telling you guys to go lay a yoga mat down in the middle of the street, and no one's saying to be that extreme, but this is just a very, very good example of how someone has been deciding to go about treating their own fear of judgment and fear of being perceived. And that may work for her. I think it's so admirable though that she took the time out to do something that she knew would be really, really scary, and maybe subconsciously she knows, like, I'm gonna look crazy, I'm gonna look weird, people are gonna judge me, people are gonna snicker and laugh and point and take videos and take pictures of me. But my God, when she gets up from the ground and goes home and gets in her bed, she's going to think, my God, I just did something that I thought I could never do. So how much more could I do something that I have made up in my mind I can't do? I could do anything. That's probably what she's thinking after that. She's thinking to herself, if I could do this, I can do anything. And that's what I want to challenge my beautiful exoticals out there to do today, and all of my women on this channel to do today, is to do something outside of your comfort zone, because there is no growth in comfort. If we are still wallowing in comfort and playing it safe, playing it small, being palatable, quote unquote, we are doing a disservice to ourselves. How many of you guys want to be influencers, want to make your own YouTube channels, want to be ministers and, create communities? How many of you want to be leaders? How many of you want to have your voice heard on high? How many of you just want to start living in your more authentic self and not feel like an imposter in your own skin? How many of us have been playing it so safe that we're playing ourselves? And I'm talking to my own self too, because in different areas of my life, I have dimmed my own self down just because of trauma, because of how people have treated me in the past. And, sometimes their voice and the words that they've said to me echo in my head when I want to go do something. And I literally have to actively fight against those words so that I can get what I need to get done. And it's so debilitating at times. So I'm speaking from experience. I know what you guys are feeling. I know what you've been through. I get your emails. I get your comments and how you struggle with your authentic self and stepping into the best and highest version of yourself. We can start today, but it's going to take work. And guess what? It's going to be uncomfortable work. But there's beauty on the other end of making yourself uncomfortable and deliberately, like the definition said, deliberately putting yourself in unconventional and odd situations that provoke people to have reactions from you. So I personally am one of those people where I have to do things in extreme ways for me to rewire my brain just because of the level of trauma that I've experienced so that it can really register in my brain and I can really start making changes at the root of myself. And so I will most likely be doing different things when it comes to exposure therapy and when it comes to rejection therapy, like posting more on my social media. I'm not about to be afraid of posting anymore. I don't care about the hometown bums on my Instagram that don't want to like or don't want to support. I don't care anymore about people perceiving me because they knew me once upon a time. That's something that I know I have been battling with, is like getting back on social media and posting again and just being myself again, because I fear that people who knew me will judge me and not support me and talk about me to people who I also know, like our mutuals. I don't give a F anymore. I'm so much in a place where it's like, I'm not going to stop my life, dim my light for anyone. I don't care how anyone feels. I don't care what anyone is thinking, what you're talking about. If I end up in your group chat, I don't give a damn anymore. Is there anyone out there that can relate to this? Because I have been literally hiding myself because of the spiritual warfare I've been experiencing from past friendships. I've been hiding myself from the monitoring spirits and the people who are just constantly in direct competition with me, who I thought were my friends, comparing themselves to me. I've been hiding myself, and in hiding myself, I've lost some of the sauce. So we all have our own goals. We all have our own dreams. And I think it's so important that whatever your goal and dream is, despite how people may perceive you, what people may think, how you may feel internally, it's time to start being radical and taking radical action and doing things that may be unconventional to shock your nervous system and to shock your subconscious mind into going into a different mindset. So that's why I think exposure therapy and rejection therapy is so powerful, is because you are literally creating a badass. When you do something like rejection therapy or exposure therapy, where you're doing something that's so silly and so out of the box and, you know, it's uncomfortable and it's weird, you literally walk away from those experiences feeling like you can conquer and do anything, feeling like you can walk on water, okay? Because you literally have surrendered. Keyword, you have surrendered to caring. You have surrendered to what people think about you. You have surrendered to who you truly are. And that's what this is all about. It's about getting to who you truly are. Fuck the noise. Fuck what people think. Who are you? Who do you want to be? Maybe you're one of those girls that was told, oh, you're doing too much. Like when you go to the job or when you go to school, people may have told you you're doing too much, or tone it down, or this isn't a fashion show. Oh, why do you have to do your hair every day? That's too much makeup. Oh, why are your clothes so tight? Why do you always feel like you need to wear this? After a while, if you're not strong enough, or if you haven't come into yourself fully yet, that will chip away at your confidence and self-esteem. And you'll start to think that you are doing too much. You start to embody the words and the rhetoric that you're hearing from haters and people who couldn't even hold a candlelight to you. Imagine that. Imagine these people see your potential. They see how great you are. They see where you're going before you do. And to stop you, they're going to plant seeds of doubt in your mind, plant seeds of self-consciousness in your own mind that weren't even there before. They're not your feelings. They're not your thoughts, but they're yours now because you took them on. You took on people's projections, and now you're operating at a base level state. While your higher self is like, hey girl, I'm up here. I'm waiting for you to step into who you truly are. And you're so afraid of being perceived because people have been perceiving you when you were being your authentic self. But what if I told you that they were doing that because they knew that you were meant for greatness? They were going that hard because they saw your potential. And that was the exact thing that they needed to do to get you to stop doing what you were doing, because they were uncomfortable. How selfish, but also how silly of us to fall for the okie doke. So let me shake the room a little bit and remind you all that this is your life. This is your life. Not your mom's, not your toxic mom, not your toxic dad's, not your narcissistic boyfriend, not your narcissistic friend, not that crazy. This is your life. And every day you wake up not being radically who you are, running from yourself, running from your authenticity, and being afraid of people perceiving you, you are missing out on the blessings that have your name on them. So ladies, drop down in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Have you struggled with, showing up as your authentic self? Also, let me know if you guys have ever forced yourself into uncomfortable situations to purposely trick your mind into growing and overcoming a certain mindset that was keeping you stuck. I'll also be leaving my email in the description box below so you can share any of your stories with me there as well. Have a lovely day, ladies.